in so many words, we're going to call this section a warning to all of the podcasters, all of the Jewish podcasters. This parasha, I would say more than anything else you can possibly imagine, is a warning for you. And you should tune in if you have a friend that has a podcast, and I'm specifically referring to the Jewish podcasters more than the non-Jews, because this is more pertinent to them than others. So if you are one of these new Jewish podcasters, or you want to be a speaker of some kind, even those that call themselves Torah speakers, this section is for you. This section is for you. Now, why is it called a warning? Because you have at the end of the parasha, at the end of Parashat Emor, a story that seems like it almost was like pushed into the Torah. Like it doesn't fit with the rest of the parasha, hence the reason of its importance. It stands out like a sore thumb. And while, of course, the average person that doesn't delve deeper into the Torah may not necessarily see themselves in this section, but I could assure you it is relevant to every single one of us, especially at our moments of weakness, and even more so to people that speak publicly, or even simply people that speak to a lot of people. Why? Because we see from the parashat of the parasha of the Megadef, the Blasphemer, that there are certain things that happen in this horrific story that perhaps we did not delve in enough in past years, that we need to go into. And of course, HaKadosh Baruch Hu continues to renew the world and continues to renew our knowledge in the Torah. And this year he renewed our knowledge and let us know more things that need to be known. So the section is at the end of the parasha, literally just the last couple of paragraphs in chapter 24. And it is a horrible story where it says, the son of the Israelite woman went out, and he was the son of an Egyptian man among the children of Israel. They fought in the camp, the son of the Israelite woman and an Israelite man. The son of the Israelite woman pronounced the name and blasphemed. And they brought him to Moshe. The name of his mother was Shlomit, daughter of Divli, of the tribe of Dan. They placed him under guard to clarify for themselves through Hashem. In so many words, here you see that this blasphemer, this young man, who his mother was a Jewish woman named Shlomit, his biological father was an Egyptian. He went out. What does it mean he went out? We'll get to that in a moment. But he went out, he got into an argument with some people, and then he blasphemed. He cursed the name of God. He cursed Judaism. He cursed the Torah. And they arrested him, and they waited for Moshe Rabbeinu to find out from God what to do with him. Now, of course, the Torah tells us in the 10 Commandments that we're not allowed to say Hashem's name in vain, needless to say, to curse the name of God. We have places, other places in the Torah where it talks about how someone that blasphemes, it's a death penalty. So, what are they waiting for, really? What are they waiting for? Well, in verse number 13, it says, Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, remove the blasphemer to the outside of the camp, and all those who heard shall lean their hands upon his head. The entire assembly shall stone him. And to the children of Israel you shall speak, saying, any man who will blaspheme his God shall bear his sin. And one who pronounces blasphemily the name of Hashem shall be put to death. The entire assembly shall surely stone him, convert and native alike. When he blasphemes the name, he shall be put to death. So here we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not just a fairy tale that sometimes people would like for him to be, where he loves everyone and he accepts every sin, no matter what you do, he is merciful. Well, apparently, God kills. If you haven't been to a hospice center, I would suggest you go and visit and see that God still kills today. If you haven't been privy to some tragedy, then I would suggest you look at some police reports in your local precinct and see what happens in society, or perhaps even just go to the local ambulance attendant and ask him, how was your last week? Tell me about your work. In so many words, they're going to tell you that God does kill. God does kill. Nobody lives forever. And in fact, the vast majority of people, according to a U.S. Census study done about 8 years ago, the vast majority of people do not die of old age, but rather through tragedy. So even though they say, according to statistics, that the lifespan today is longer, according to them, than it was in the past, and people lived well into their 70s or even 80s now, yeah, that's if they don't have any tragedy. But if you look at the actual death toll in the world, there are a few 100,000 people that die every single day, and a large portion of them die tragically. So God still kills. Now, here, God is instructing to kill. Why? Somebody cursed his name. Somebody mocked him. Somebody mocked his Torah. But why? Why would anybody do such a thing? Why would anybody do such a thing? The sound is not good, you're telling me? Let's see. Somebody check TikTok, please. Tell me if it sounds good or it's just their computer. I don't like to go into a whole lecture and people can't hear me. Audio is okay. Okay, so for you it's okay. Okay, for you it's okay. So the other guy has to fix his microphone. All right, his earphones. All right. So the question we have here is a very big question, because this is the 5 books of Moses. This is not some fairy tale. This is not some unknown story. This is something that you have available to you if you have the 5 books of Moses. If you have the Torah, you have it available to you. So the question is, why is it that God decided that this man, the blasphemer, has lost his right to exist? And it wasn't just that. He's even teaching us a lesson through it, telling us that anyone else that ever does such a thing, not just that day and not just that week, but forevermore, whether they are new to the religion, such as a convert, or someone that was born religious, whether they are young or old, the same thing would happen to them. In fact, he continues and then combines a few other lessons in there, where he says, and a man, if he strikes mortally any human life, he shall be put to death. A man who strikes mortally an animal shall make restitution, a life for a life. If a man inflicts a wound in his fellow, as he did, so shall be done to him. A break for a break, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Just as he will have inflicted a wound on a person, so shall be inflicted upon him. This seems odd. What does one thing have to do with the other? You just told us about the blasphemer. It's the worst thing to be a blasphemer. We got that. But now you're telling me if somebody beats somebody else up. Now we know that obviously if somebody punches another person and causes them to lose their tooth, the Torah is not saying here to remove his tooth back. In essence, you have to pay a monetary reward that's going to cost him to fix his tooth. Or the value of his eye. And the value of his eye obviously depends on what he uses his eye for. If he is, let's say, someone that works in the field, his eye has a certain level of importance. But if he is a spinal surgeon, then the eye obviously has much higher level of importance. So the value is much higher. But still, we're looking for more connection here. Why? What is the connection between the two? Because if you were going to say, well, perhaps the Torah went to just another issue. You talk to us about the blasphemer, and now it's telling us about, it doesn't have to be a blasphemer. It could just be somebody that beats up another person. That's also not good, but not as bad. But no, it's not. Why? Because we're going back to the blasphemer again. Where after it tells us the one who strikes an animal and makes restitution, eye for an eye, and so on, then God says, there shall be one law for you. It shall be for the convert and the native alike, for I am Hashem your God. Moshe spoke to the children of Israel, and they took the blasphemer to the outside of the camp, and they stoned him to death. And the children of Israel did as Hashem commanded Moshe. So we see here, Rabotai, that this is all one ongoing story, all one ongoing lesson. And we must delve into the depths of the Torah in order to understand it. Now, first and foremost, if someone curses the name of God or mocks the Torah, as it says in the Torah in several places, but one of them in Parashat Kitavo, where it talks about different curses, if somebody even gets in the way of the Torah being shown to people, taught to people, let's just say you arranged a lecture for the rabbi to come to your community and give a lecture, and somebody decided to spoil the event and told everyone that the event was canceled even though it wasn't. Or perhaps the rabbi was teaching and people were watching the lecture, and then you decided to tell the people, no, don't watch this rabbi. Let's go watch sports instead, or let's just go watch television instead. These are different ways where you got in the way of the Torah. And the Torah itself says, Udvar Hashem bazeh. You desecrated the word of Hashem by doing something like that. Karet yikaret nafsho. His soul shall be cut off. So we understand that being a blasphemer is of the same horrible category of sins, where someone is in essence declaring war against Hashem. But why would this person do such a thing? We are meant to be a light unto the nations, not to follow their misguided practices. Remember, every Jew has to remember that he's a Jew and she's a Jew. We don't celebrate non-Jewish holidays, even if they seem harmless.